Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kellie Kitchen. Trying out some new lights here, hoping that some of this is going to help. Hi, everyone. Hey, everyone's here for the Kellie Kitchen. We have some really, gosh, that light is a little too much for me. We have some awesome stuff tonight, some keto-friendly, low-carb things. So let's get started. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Atsuko, I have a package for you in my car. It's going to the post office tomorrow. You got a care package coming, a keto care package coming to Japan. Super exciting. You guys, we're getting into the holiday season and we've done a lot of pumpkin. So we are gonna switch gears and do a little cranberry. Yay! Okay, so this is one of the easiest recipes. No one even needs to know that this is keto friendly when you're serving this at Thanksgiving, but the cranberry sauce that I'm gonna make, I'm just gonna get this started right now. I'm actually making a half a recipe because we're going to add this to our cranberry cheesecake bars. So good. So I have got 12 ounces of fresh cranberries, and actually you can buy these in bulk. You can freeze them. I just put a cup of allulose. I'm going to tell you about allulose in a second. I'm going to put a half a cup of water. And that's it. We will add a little bit of orange rind. I'm just going to give this a little stir. This will take about 3 to 4 minutes, and then we're going to start seeing all of the cranberries start to pop. And while this is taking 3 or 4 minutes to sort of get heated up, let's put in, so I just got an orange. I don't eat oranges, obviously keto, low carb, you don't really eat oranges, but the rind on this gives so much flavor. So I just take a vegetable peeler and I'm gonna just do a couple big chunks of orange rind. It adds beautiful orange flavor. And when this is all done, you can just pick the orange rind out of. That's probably enough for now. And then after it's cooked, we'll put a little bit of orange extract in there. So we're just going to get this simmering, and the cranberries are going to start popping. And as soon as they start popping, it's a little pop. Don't worry, it's not going to explode, but just a little pop. Then we'll turn it down to a simmer, and we'll just let that sit there for 10 minutes. And then it creates the most beautiful cranberry jam. 1 serving of this, which is about 3 to 4 tablespoons, is 3 grams net carb. Where if you were to buy the Ocean Spray canned cranberry, 1 serving is like 30 grams net carbs. So this, where you think on Thanksgiving Day you could have just a little bit of cranberry, it's not going to be a big deal. Well, a little bit of cranberry could be 30 grams of carbs for you. So this is a great alternative, and it's something that you can make in bulk. You can keep in the freezer, and there's a lot of other uses for it as well. You can use it as a jam. We use Rosette's Mix bagels, and so we'll have a bagel with some cranberry jam on it, and it's really delicious. While this is simmering and doing its thing, I'm going to get started on our keto cranberry bars, because this is a dessert that's absolutely beautiful. It is a showstopper, but there are 3 steps to this, and the first step is making the cranberry sauce. The second step is we're going to make the crust, and then we'll make the cheesecake part that goes on top. So I just have a 1/4 of a cup of butter here, and I'm going to put it in the microwave and give it just a little melt there. And There you go. I got a request today. Next week, we're probably going to do like a cheeseburger. Oh, good. So Rhonda tried the jalapeno soup. I'm so excited. So that's the soup that we're making tonight. The jalapeno popper soup is the soup that we're making tonight. But next week, we'll probably make cheeseburger soup. Okay, our cranberries are starting to pop. Can you see them? They're starting to pop. I'm going to let them go for just maybe a minute longer, and then I'll just let them simmer there for a second. Okay. Here is our melted butter for the crust. The crust is a pretty easy mixture together. I have almond flour, a little bit of coconut flour, a little bit of Lakanto monk fruit sweetener, which is in the granular form. And then we're going to do just a pinch of salt because you want to have a little bit of salt to go with all that sweet. And we're going to just mix that in with our melted butter. And you grab a fork. And then you basically just fluff all this stuff together. The cranberries are really starting to do their thing. So now we've turned them down. And they're just going to sit here and they're going to simmer for like 10 minutes. And I'll show you the finished product a little bit later. A little surprise for you. So we have our butter. We're just going to fluff it together with our almond flour and a little bit of coconut flour. And I like to, if you're allergic to coconut flour or you think that you might want to omit that, you could just add 3 more tablespoons of almond flour, or you could add a little psyllium husk. I like to use almond flour because I feel like it gives it a dry texture, kind of like a cookie. So that's, that's an option that you can do. Some people, like this particular thing has, 3 or 4 ingredients to it. So if you wanted to omit the coconut flour, just add something else to help absorb the butter, and something else would be psyllium husk or a little bit more almond flour. So I'm gonna just take my pan. So normally cheesecake is in a round cheesecake pan, and you can certainly do this in a round cheesecake pan as well. I'm totally fine with that. I did this because I wanted it to be more accessible to anybody that wants to make it, and for it to be not so intimidating. So I just use like a regular small casserole dish, but here's the trick. You have to put a piece of parchment paper in the bottom. And if you don't have parchment paper, you can use aluminum foil. But you need to be able to have something so that you can pull out, and I'll show you in a second how I would do that. But you would pull out the whole cheesecake when it's all finished. So I'm going to put all of our almond flour and butter mixture. It's a crumbly mixture, and we're going to press this into the bottom of our pan. Get this out of the way. And we're just going to, I just use this with sugar, but I'm just going to press, our cookie textured right into the bottom. I've got my oven going at 350 degrees, and we are going to bake. We're going to bake this cookie crust bottom for just like 10 minutes. We're going to give it just a little toasting, because once we put the cheesecake on top, we don't want this to get soggy. So we're just going to do a little 10 minutes at 350. Put that right in there. And then I'm going to show you how our cranberries, I wish I had a top down so you could really see it, but that's how our cranberries are really starting to melt together. I'm going to move this to the back so that I can bring some other stuff to the front, and we can get started on our jalapeno popper soup. Okay, so we'll move the cranberries off to the side. I'm going to give them one more little stir. I'm so excited to see everybody. It was quite a nail biter last week, which is why I'm wearing my support of the entire country, whether you are red or blue. I hope we can all come together and be inclusive. And this is not a political rant. Sorry, I didn't even want to go there, but I just wanted to. I was wearing a blue sweater and then I put the red thing on. Anyways, never mind that. I am going to get started on my jalapeno popper soup because that's way more interesting to me anyways. I've got my heavy bottom stock pot. I like to usually do a double recipe of this soup because it's so delicious and it's great for the freezer also. One of my clients, so I have an accountability coaching program. I don't know if you guys know that, but if people need help hand-holding or along the way of their keto intermittent fasting journey, you can work with me and on a daily basis, we get together and we talk via text and I coach you through and I hold you accountable. And one of them said that she was highly allergic, or her husband is highly allergic to onions. So we tried to figure out a recipe, and this soup is so flavorful, and most soups have onions in them. This one does not. And we get the flavor from bacon, which is, you know, yummy, yummy, yummy. So we're going to put, this is 6 slices of bacon. I just chopped it up a little bit. I'm going to save this off to the side because I'll pour a lot of the grease from the leftover from the bacon when I'm all done with that. The other part that I wanted to mention about this jalapeno popper soup is that you could essentially make this completely vegetarian. You don't have to use the bacon, but why would you ever omit bacon? Because bacon tastes good. You could use vegetable stock and you could omit the chicken. So this is a great soup if you wanted to make some alterations. You could also add, you could switch out the chicken and you could add ground beef if you wanted to make it sort of a spicy ground beef soup. But we're going to get the bacon going. The bacon gives it a tremendous amount of flavor, but then we'll take the bacon out and we will let it get nice and crispy and drain all of the grease off of that. And then you sprinkle it on top of the soup and it's really a great added texture and flavor to the soup. A lot of people watch this video live, and thank you so much for joining me and coming to see me right at 6:15. You might even be eating dinner with your own families. But if you're watching this in a replay, let me know. Like, put replay in there. Ask any questions. I read everything, and I see all the comments and suggestions. So if you are on a replay, it will alert me so I can go back and answer questions or check in with you guys. And I love seeing you guys. It's fun because I get new suggestions and new ideas all the time. So there is our bacon. We're going to let that do its thing. We'll give our cranberry sauce a little stir again. The berries are starting to really break up, and I just used the back of my spoon to kind of mash it up a little bit. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about my masher, my meat masher. Well, I get this nice and clean after I use it to mash meat, and I mash the cranberries with this, or sometimes I mash fruit with this. And if somebody's watching for Christmas, hopefully my Peter or my children are watching, I'd like another one of these because I love it so much. I think it's called a Smashola. I got it on Amazon. Originally, I think it's from Pampered Chef, but I'm not a Pampered Chef person, but I don't know. I love this, and it's really great. So I'll show you how we mash up our berries. And our bacon is starting to get nice and crisp, and it's going to leave nice brown bits on the bottom of the pan. I'm going to get a plate and some paper towels to do some draining. And it's really starting to cool down here, so it's kind of been fun for me because now I'm like really in soup season. And actually somebody was like, hey, hold off on the the soups. I was kind of going overboard on those, but anyways, who came to say hi to me? Oh, hi, Bernie. How are you? And Rosette, she loves her Pampered Chef stool also, but I just got mine off Amazon. So, you know, I think it's called a Smashola. I'm not really sure what it's called, but I love it and I use it all the time. So while this is continuing to crisp up, that's our bacon, that's 6 slices of bacon. While that's continuing to crisp up, let me show you what we have over here. Do not be afraid of jalapenos. Jalapenos, most of the heat is in the seeds, and you can wear gloves when you chop your jalapenos, but if you take all of the seeds out, it tremendously reduces the heat and the spiciness. The soup still is a spicy soup. You can downplay that by adding a scoop of, or a little spoonful of sour cream on top of your soup, and that'll cut the heat a little bit. But I have a cup of chopped jalapenos, fresh jalapenos, and then I have a half a cup of green bell pepper, and the recipe calls for a half a cup of red bell pepper, but I was doing a little kitchen clean out, so just know that the recipe, which by the way, all the recipes are on the website. So you can go to thekellykitchen.com, and it's Kelly with an IE. I know my parents are being weird and trying to be different, which is, you know, that's fine too. So I've got my jalapenos, my bell peppers, and then I have a little bit of garlic, and my spices for this soup is just salt, pepper, and a little bit of cumin and a little bit of paprika. So it comes together very, very easily. My cranberries in the back here, I'm going to take my smasher. I'm just going to smash those up a little bit. I wanted to make mention Rosette, who's my bud. She lives on the East Coast. She has some pre-made keto-friendly mixes. And I know we made the crust for the cranberry bars. However, Rosette makes a cookie mix. I don't know if you can see this. You can't see it up too close. But this is called the No Sugar Cookie Mix. And you can go to rosettesmix.com. And if you don't remember, you can DM me and I'll put it in, you know, later, whatever. But if you didn't want to get the almond flour and all the different things, you could just get a pre-made mix like Rosette's no sugar sugar cookie mix, and you could use this as the bottom of the cheesecake. I mean, and that's what I would do. And Rosette, maybe I'll send you a little picture if I do that. But I think it's a great marriage of being able to have these fun things, but not having to buy all the different things that go with it. So I'm going to use a little slotted spoon, and we will take the bacon out of here. We're going to let that crisp up and dry a little bit. And actually, there's not really that much grease. There's just enough grease. The recipe calls for a tablespoon of olive oil as optional, because I have enough grease in here that I don't need to add olive oil if I don't want to. Only if it's a little bit dry. So I'm going to keep my pan going nice and warm. It's over medium heat, and I'm going to get the jalapenos starting to soften up, and the bell peppers, and we'll let those stir and soften and cook a little bit in the bacon grease. And there's our cookie for our cheesecake, which is, we are firing on all cylinders here. Woo! Perfect. And again, this is not fully cooked. This is just a par cooking. So again, if you don't want to get all of the ingredients to make the cookie bottom, you could just get a pre-packaged no sugar cookie for the bottom, and that's from Rosette. We're gonna let this cool off to the side just for a second. And we'll give our jalapenos and bell peppers a little stir. And while these are starting to soften down, see how I'm kind of like multitasking? I know it seems a little bit crazy, but this is how I'm able to get so much done while I am in the kitchen. So I'm kind of multitasking. I could stay here and sort of meditate over the jalapenos, but you know, I don't need to. I can get working on my, this is my cheesecake stuff. We'll get this out of the way. So in my container here, I have 2 blocks of regular old cream cheese, just regular Philadelphia or whatever brand you want, 16 ounces of cream cheese. I am going to add, this is 1/3 cup of powdered monk fruit erythritol blend. So it's a Lakanto is the brand, and I have it powdered. And the reason that I do powdered is because after erythritol cools, it has a crunch to it. And if you powder it, it's less of a crunch. So I like that. I'm going to keep letting my jalapenos and my peppers soften up a little bit. And I'm going to get started on this. Get these things out of the way. So where's my thing? Okay. I have my handy dandy electric hand mixer. I think this was $12 from Target. Nothing fancy here. But you probably really should use some sort of an electric mixer just to get the cheese, the cream cheese and the powdered sweetener really blended and creamy together. So we'll just blend this for a couple of, maybe like a minute. We will add a little bit of sour cream. You know how you love the cheesecake that has like a little bit of tang to it? That comes from sour cream. So we will add 1/2 cup of sour cream. Woo! Sorry, lots of noise. Get that going. And I honestly don't know why we do this, but we do 1 egg at a time to make sure it gets fully incorporated probably. You know, sometimes I get lazy and I just throw both the eggs in at once, but tonight we're being fancy, so why not? Tomorrow afternoon, early evening for the New Yorkers, Dr. Tro Kalajian has his weekly meeting, and I am going to be a speaker on that. We're going to get ready for the holidays. I'll see if we can get a link. I think it's for his closed group, but there'll be about 100 people in that. And be sure that next week I will share a lot of the things that we talked about. So some of the topics are Thanksgiving stuffing, how do you replace mashed potatoes, obviously the cranberries, and of course I have a gazillion keto-friendly desserts. So we're going to go over a bunch of that stuff tomorrow. So here's our cheesecake mixture. It's coming together so beautifully. And then I'm going to add just a teaspoon of really good vanilla. I have to tell you, when I go to the supermarket and I see that like vanilla like this is like $30 or $40, I just sort of like get a lump in my throat because I don't want to spend that much, but it makes a difference. It really does. And you only use a teaspoon, and it adds just so much flavor. So sorry guys, you got to splurge for the good stuff. I mean, this isn't even the really expensive stuff, but anyways, I'm a convert. of that. So I'm going to put that really good vanilla in there. I'm going to make sure that I scrape down all the sides. It's so funny. The jalapenos, I can literally the wave of the jalapenos in the air. I can feel a little bit of a tickle in my throat from the little bit of the spice. Woo! It's spicy, guys. Super spicy. Anyways, we'll get that out of the way. We have our cheesecake mixture. Beautiful. While we're doing this, we're just going to give our jalapenos a little stir. We're going to continue letting those go. You could do your next step in the soup right now, but we are going to get busy getting the cranberry cheesecake into the oven because it takes 25 minutes. So I just wanted to show you guys. Here is our cranberry sauce. I tend to like the chunky cranberry sauce. And as this cools, it will get thick and jelly-like. So there, and this is just a half serving. So I happen to have made a double serving last weekend. So I have some left over. I'm going to show you how thick. This is our cranberry sauce, and it is only 3 grams net carb per serving. And let me tell you, it is so delicious. And anyways, that's what we're going to use tonight. So let's take our cookie crust. We're going to pour our cheesecake mixture right over top of the cookie crust, and we'll smooth out the top. I still have my oven going at 350 degrees. We're going to smooth out the top all the way to the edges. And then you'll use about a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup, but use as much as you want of the cranberry sauce. And we're just going to take it and we're going to drizzle it along the top of our cheesecake bars. And then I have a little fancy dancy trick that I do that I take either a knife or a spoon or a popsicle stick, and we just move this way so you can see. And I drag my knife through the cranberry and cheesecake mixture. It's a little art project for me. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and the less perfect it is, actually, the better. And get the cranberry into any of the spots that you would like to mix the cranberry and the cheesecake. See, I feel like I missed a few spots, so I'm going to add a little extra right here, maybe over here. And beauteous. So we'll save the rest of that cranberry sauce for another time. And now our cheesecake bars, our cranberry cheesecake bars are ready to go back into the oven. We are going to go 25 minutes at 325. And because this is the magic of television, I already have some made, and I'll show you those in just a few minutes. But let's get back to our soup because our peppers are nice and soft. we're going to put in 2 cloves of mashed garlic. And we're going to put in 4 cups of really good chicken stock. If you only have Better Than Bouillon or something from the that's either canned, that's fine too. We're going to bring this to a nice heavy simmer, and we are also going to mix in all of our seasonings, which is salt, pepper, cumin, and paprika. Again, recipe is on the website, but we'll mix those in there, give it a nice stir, let all those flavors come together. And I've got a couple other things that are going into this soup. These are things that you can just like have already in your fridge. Who doesn't have shredded cheddar cheese? We all do. Cream cheese softened. Usually it's a whole block, but I ran out, so we're going with 6 or 7 ounces. That's enough. A whole block is 8 ounces. So we're kind of improvising here, but it will all taste good. I've got my shredded chicken. This is 2, maybe 3 cups of shredded chicken. The recipe calls for 2 cups of chicken. Add however much you want. We'll have that ready to go. And then we have xanthan gum. So something that people have been asking about for like Thanksgiving gravy, gravy for your turkey, gravy for your pot roast. How do you thicken your soups? Well, xanthan gum is a really great way to do that. Now, here's the trick. You only need like a teeny tiny bit of xanthan gum. Xanthan gum, if you use too much, it will turn into like a gloppy, slimy mess. This is a widely used product in a lot of things that we already know of, and it's a great way to get the flour and the cornstarch out of your soups and thickening things. You can use just a little bit of xanthan gum, and so we're going to add some of that at the very end. So now we have our soup. It's going to come to a boil here in a second. It's nice and hot. I'm going to add in our cream cheese, and I will use I'll use a whisk. So, and if you wanted to, you could melt it even more, but this is actually room temperature, so it should melt fairly easily. And we're going to mash that in there. And this is going to add like a creaminess and a nice thickness to this delicious, yummy soup. One of the other things that you have to have in jalapeno poppers is some cheddar cheese. So I have a cup of shredded cheddar cheese. You can do a mix of Colby Jack. You can do sharp cheddar, medium cheddar, whatever you have. And we're just going to add that right into the soup. So that will melt and bring it all together. And if you do have little chunks of cream cheese, don't worry. As soon as your soup starts to boil, you just continue whisking, and it will really break all the pieces of the cream cheese up. So it'll turn into a really nice, smooth soup. So we'll get that cream cheese to really melt. All right, last step on the cranberry sauce. Now remember, this is cranberry sauce you can make in bulk. You can make it for a couple different things. And I had extra, which is why I made the cranberry cheesecake bars. But tonight I wanted to show you how you could make your own so that you could have this for your Thanksgiving meal. We had the orange rind in there, and I'm gonna just see if I can show you the orange rind and pull it out for you. It may have, oh, there it is. There we go. So there's our orange rind. We're gonna pull that out now because I don't really want to eat that, and we have the orange flavor, but I'm gonna add just a little bit. And again, if you don't have this, you can just use the orange rind, but this is just orange extract, and I just got this at the regular supermarket. You can get it online, and I'm just going to do a half a teaspoon because this is a half of a recipe. A full teaspoon is for the whole recipe. And we will mix that together. And our keto cranberry sauce is, it's all done. Do you see how it's got like a nice jellied mixture? It's really delicious. Oh, there's another piece of the orange rind, so I'm just going to take that out. We don't need that in there. Quite frankly, if you left it in, it would probably melt, and I would be fine with that too. Okay, so we'll just turn that off, take that off to the side. Our cranberry sauce is done. We're going to give our soup. So now it's starting to simmer, and everything is really, really melting. All of the cream cheese is melting, and all of the cheddar cheese has melted in there. And before I put the chicken in, I am going to add my little bit of xanthan gum. So here's the other thing about xanthan gum. You have to sprinkle it in like it's pixie dust, and you just do the tiniest amount. So we're going to use 1/4 teaspoon. Trust me, less is better. More is not better. Just 1/4 teaspoon, and you're going to very, very delicately sprinkle like pixie dust, and then give it a little whisk, and that will thicken your soup over time. Okay, so we've got enough boiling going on there. We're going to let that cool down a little bit. We have it just over a little simmer. We are going to add our shredded chicken right into the soup, and there you go. Couple different garnishes that you can do on our jalapeno chicken soup. Rhonda. So Rhonda's commenting that she actually made the jalapeno soup, and it was great for leftovers. I know. I love it too. So we're going to just let this cool down for a second, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'll put it in a bowl. We're going to let that cool down so I don't burn my the roof of my mouth. I have a little tip about how not to eat all this food while you're cooking. So this weekend, on Sunday, I cooked a quiche. I cooked a chicken artichoke spinach soup. I cooked the cranberry cheesecake bars, and I cooked rotisserie chicken, and I cooked pot roast, and I did cauliflower mashed potatoes or cauliflower mash. And it was like, how could I not eat all of that while I was doing that? Well, I burnt the crap out of my tongue on coffee that morning. So there's a little tip for you. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to keep yourself from eating all the food while you're cooking, burn your tongue on coffee. That was a bummer. We're going to let that do its thing. And I am going to show you our cranberry cheesecake bars. So the reason that I want you to use parchment paper or tin foil is that you need to be able to pick up both sides so you can get it out of the pan. Do you see that? And then you'll be able to cut it into these gorgeous cranberry cheesecake bars. Yay! So delicious. So each one of these is about 5 grams net carb for the whole bar, and there are 15 bars in one recipe. So it is a tiny bit higher carb, but it's way less than something that is filled with real sugar. So I think this is a great option. There are our cranberry cheesecake bars. Yay! Low carb. 5 grams net carb. So let me just show you our soup because I'm so excited for it. Actually, let me taste it first. Hello. I have to taste it to make sure I'm sure I don't need any salt or anything like that. It has so much, we already put some in, but oh my gosh, it has such great, rich, deep flavor. Oh my gosh, that so good. Okay, look at how chunky and hearty this soup is. Do you see that? You could even add celery if you wanted more of a crunch in this. If you wanted to omit the chicken, you could add cauliflower. So we have our bowl of soup here, and then we're going to take our crispy bacon, and we will just sprinkle that right on top, just like a jalapeno popper. And there, my friends, is our jalapeno popper soup. Yay! That went fast. It's not even 7 yet. But thank you for coming. Let me see if I have any questions. I don't know if I do, but it's so good to see everyone from all over the country and all over the world. And let's see. I'm going to have to go through later. I don't see any questions right now, but again, you can find all the recipes on the Kellie Kitchen. Like everything, share everything, do all that social media stuff. It helps me to try and get the word out for all these wonderful recipes that I'm trying to share with everyone. Oh, butternut squash soup. I'm not sure how low carb that is, but maybe we could figure out how to do. Somebody just suggested butternut squash soup, and I love it too. I'm not sure how low carb it is, but let's see if I can. This is a challenge for me now. Let's see if I can do that. Thank you again so much for coming. And I will, let's see if I can see anybody else. Is it possible to make butternut squash soup low carb? I'm going to have to see because this is my challenge now. I will see you guys next Monday. Thanks for coming. Bye.